Good day, class.
Good day, ma'am.
How are you today?
We are fine, and how are you, ma'am?
Fantastic. We are going to deal with shapes today. Today I was teaching my learners about shapes. I was linking the two-dimensional shapes to the three-dimensional objects. I want a person who's going to give me any shape that you know.
Square.
A square. Another shape? Jablile.
Triangle.
A triangle. Sakufiwa? Pentagon. After introducing the lesson, I asked the learners to give me the shapes that they know. Doing that because I want to link the pre-knowledge moving from the known to the unknown. Do you know what is a triangle?
Yes.
I want you to give me the number of the sides of a triangle. How many sides does a triangle have? Puleng?
3.
A triangle has got 3 sides. Do you agree?
Yes.
Is this a triangle?
Yes, ma'am.
How many sides does it have?
3 sides.
Mami Dupi is going to count the number of sides of a triangle.
1, 2, 3.
So now this is our triangle. Do we know a square?
Yes.
How many sides does a square have?
4.
How many sides does a square have? My kitty kid.
4 sides, ma'am.
There are 4 sides on a square. Is this a square?
Yes, ma'am.
I make them to always remember the shape on the chalkboard. When they are supposed to write now on their books, they will visualize. You know, some of the learners, they learn by seeing. Remember, they say, if you tell me, I forget. But once I see it, I'll always remember it. All these shapes, do you know what do we call them?
Yes.
These shapes are called two-dimensional shapes. These are called two-dimensional shapes. Look around the classroom. If you see an object, tell me the shape of any object that you see in the classroom.
It's a cube.
It is a cube. Where is the cube? It's up here. I want you to look at the classroom and look for the object, the things that you use every day. Don't look at my shapes. Anything that you see that have a shape that you know. Sbongile?
A sphere.
You see a?
Sphere.
Which one is a sphere?
The ball.
The ball. It is a sphere. Our ball is a sphere. Okay? I went for the real objects where I took the things that they see at their homes and also the shapes that were around the classroom in order for them to see and visualize what we are doing today. There is a rectangle, there is a rectangle, and there is a rectangle. How many circles do you see there? How many circles do you see there? New girl.
2 seconds.
There is a circle. Can you see a circle there?
Yes.
Can you also see a circle there?
Yes.
Very good. Tata. I could not just move to the three-dimensional objects. I wanted them to see that for us to have a three-dimensional object, we need to have the pre-knowledge of the two-dimensional shapes, because all the objects, they've got the faces of the two-dimensional shapes. How many faces? How many faces? Pindile?
6 faces.
There are 6 faces. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Repetition is very important, especially on the grade 5 learners, because they are still young, and when they learn by seeing, and they must also repeat in order to grab the content. This is our rectangular prism. On the rectangular prism, there are 6 faces, ne? Yes. We said there are
6 faces.
Where the 2 faces meet, we call the place where they meet, we call it an edge. So there is an edge, ne? Yes. So if we look at this rectangular prism, there's an edge, 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 and an edge. So I want you to count for me the number of edges that we'll get on this rectangular prism. Thapelo, you are going to assist Thapelo to count the number of edges.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It is very important for the learners to know the number of faces and also the number of edges that we find on an object. I'm going to give each group the object where you're going to count the number of edges, ne?
Yes.
I want you to count the number of edges so that you understand them, ne?
Yes, ma'am.
You are going to count for us the number of edges. Count the number of edges for us. Count the number of edges for us. My teaching is more learner-centered than teacher-centered. How many edges did you get? Puti?
12 edges.
Puti have got 12 edges. Puti has got 12 edges. Very good, Puti. So now what is the name of this object? What is the name of this object? Ule?
Rectangular.
It is a rectangular prism. Allowing learners to work in groups, it helps them to understand more, because now the peers in the group, they tend to explain it better than the teacher. They are talking it on the language of the level of themselves. Okay, guys, now I'm going to give you a worksheet where you are going to look at the objects that are on the worksheet, because the objects that we're doing are called three-dimensional objects. They are not shapes, they are called three-dimensional objects. The worksheet that I gave to my learners, they were about the characteristics of the 3D objects, where they have to count the number of faces on an object and also see the shape that we find on a 3D object. How many faces do we get on a triangular prism? There are 5 faces. And then what is the name of the shape? We've got 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. So you're going to count the number of faces that we get on those other objects. Ne? After learners have worked on their worksheet, for me to check if they've understand the lesson that was taught during the day, I've allowed them to report back to the classroom. Most of our learners, they think maths is a difficult subject because as teachers, we are not making our maths fun. So every time when I teach my maths, when I'm coming to the classroom, they know that now ma'am is coming, we are going to have fun. So it's important to instill the love of maths so that they can be passionate and that we must improve our honor results and our maths performance in the country. I love shapes and I also have passion about mathematics.